Hello, my dear ones. Great pleasure to come to you. Always, 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 always. I always have fun talking about health and vitality. I've never, ever lost that excitement for it because it's tied into spirituality. It's tied into your love and your joy and your happiness, or it's tied into your pain and suffering. So you want to, if you want to be happy and healthy, you just have to work for it now on this planet. It's such a tough planet right now. And so new changes coming. It's all exciting. I was kind of looking through some of these things. Vaccine horrors, medical mutilation of innocent children exposed in graphic photos of safe vaccines gone horribly wrong. You know what? When you take a look at our society right now, the things that are going on that are of the negative variety is immense. And it's funny that you actually have humans so sleeping that they don't compute this. Or, of course, the court case, I think the court case was in Texas, don't quote me, but between, it was a large group of parents who got together and did a class action against pharmaceutical companies, of course, and they have all the money for the lawyers and stuff like this. And it's just sad to see some of these kids post-vaccine. And of course, we've had a lot of these kids in here. The worst part of this is the seizures. You know, when you have these neurotoxic vaccines that throw your babies into seizures, and then you have a baby that has constant seizures. I don't know how you qualify that and say in any way that the amount of harm being done by vaccines, the benefit outweighs the harm. That's all bullcrap. It's all lies. You are far better to get natural immunities than you are vaccinated immunities because it's a toxic immunity. And it's just toxic. So, tough stuff. Anyway, we've been pumping out the videos, so I hope you've been, liking them. I don't know. They're going to cut them down a little bit so they're not so long and do different things. So, hope they're okay for you. So, I want to do some more Q&A. Then I think Attila's going to come and help me do some Q&As because we got some stacks to go through, and I know a lot of you guys are suffering. And I tell you, if we can help you in any way, let us do that. There's a lot of us now that are helping others around the world. So there's plenty of YouTubers that know what's up, that are helping others, that have got into their own practices, that are busy, that are helping others get out of their situations. So I'm so proud of every one of you guys. You're something else. Good group. Good group. Alex. Hello, Alex. I really respect you and your method, so I wanted your feedback on this. Thank you, Alex. What do you think about dry fasting, no food, no water, for 24 to 96 hours to heal the body of all degenerative diseases? Well, I've thought a lot about this lately. Now, remember, diseases is a fabrication of the medical mind, but there's a lot of degenerative conditions out there, or degenerative tissue in the human body. Most everybody has the level of degeneration in them today. Matter of fact, the sad thing is that infants coming through the chute now, these fetuses have atypical cells already, and there has been diagnosis of cancer cells in infants. To understand that, you have to understand what damages a cell, the system that deals with the acids, of course, the lymphatic system, these are all lymphomas, and the fact that the cells in our babies are so weak from genetic passing, and the lack of understanding of proper nutrition for humans, for the Homo sapiens species, that we're seriously in trouble. And I think a lot of you parents know that. And sadly, we have a lot of you parents that have some sick kids that we're really working on to get them back. So there's a lot of genetic remembering of cells, the regenerative process for sure. Essential to be thinking about regeneration. That's why we do regenerative detoxification. Because the end goal of detoxification is the regeneration of tissue. Understanding what brings down tissue, not difficult because you only have two sides of chemistry to deal with, and since everything is chemistry here, that's where you have to go to blame. You don't blame something else. Foods are chemistry. Everything is chemistry, so you have to go to chemistry. Well, sometimes chemistry is too hard for people to understand. Get that. But you only have to know that chemistry has two sides to it, the healing side and the side that will break you down. Understand the base side, the healing alkaline side, and the acid corrosive side. Understanding that a lot of foods men eat are acid-forming foods. And all those acid-forming foods on top of the acids that are produced from the metabolism of nutrition is just bringing man down in inflammation, which is acidosis. So always know that you can reverse that very simply. In a dry fasting scenario, I see more and more benefit with that myself. I think animals tend to dry fast a little more in nature than water fast, in that water's not always available to animals. And so I think there is dry fasting. We've seen dry fasting actually open up kidney filtration when there was none. So I think a 24-hour dry fast, 36 hours at the most, I think would be good. I don't know about long-term dry fasting. I'm going to hold my... let's say this. Before you dry fast, please spend about a month or two detoxing properly. Get on your diet of raw. Get on the herbs to clean the bowels, to get the kidneys going, get all that. Get down the road a little bit by opening up, killing parasites, get worms out of you, flukes, all this stuff. In other words, get your body a little better before you dry fast. That's going to be highly recommended. Because there was some even water fasting in Costa Rica, 43-day water fast. And one of our guys had a lot of sulfur in his bowels. Well, that started, of course, pulling the sulfur out. Well, of course, 43 days came, the fast stopped, but the sulfur was in the process. All this was in the process of detoxing. So when they stopped, his body went into shock. Because everything was being pulled and on the move to come out, and then you just stopped it. Oh. And so, you know, it was tough. So we had to work him back out of that. But it's just being smart. We come from a very acidic, toxic position, most people. So you just don't want to jump into fasting and dry fasting and things like this. Get your bowels cleaned up a little bit. Get the worms and stuff out of you. And get your kidneys, if you can, get your kidneys filtering. If you can't, that's a good reason to fast, of course. But getting the kidneys working a little better, kind of getting things opened up a little better, you'll have a much better time at water and dry fasting if you just spend a little time opening some doors first. So, outside of that, let's assume it's done under medical supervision, prepared for and broken correctly. Well, I would say that medical supervision of a fast, I know what you're saying, Alex, but if it was supervised by a detoxification specialist, that's one of our guys who've been to school that understand how you move through detoxification, the art of that, would be better. And yes, I fully believe that it's fun to have someone around you that's experienced. But as a rule, a lot of you are alone in your positions. I was alone here, and no one to refer to talk to. You at least can call the clinic, listen to the videos. You've got other people like-minded. I couldn't find anybody like-minded. So that's a problem. And the only place I did find someone like-minded was at the Natural Hygienic Fasting Institutes, where I'd go and then talk to the head naturopath or whatever, and I'd learn, and then that's where I could buy raw books. You couldn't just go to the store and buy books on raw foods. You couldn't go to health food stores because back then they were underground more. So, I mean, there was a lot of changes through the years, for sure. Your availability of things was so much better. You talk about oppression. We came out in extreme oppressive, unconscious periods of time. Still a little dark agey out there. But you're right. It's nice to have someone that knows what they're doing oversee that. Particularly if you're an advanced person, you're full of what's diagnosed as cancer, tumors, and damaged cells. It might be nice to have someone with experience to help you with that, I think. My understanding is that it puts cells into a mode of survival of the finest and cell regeneration. I think, if you think this, look at it energetically, you're totally withdrawing the need for digestive energy. That's important because there's a lot of energy that the body uses for the digestive process because there's so much involved in that. Remember, we're like, the body's like a food processing machine. So there's a lot of energy involved in that, and this is why we tell you about the fruits and the berries and the melons as opposed to the veggies. Veggies are really not even Homo sapien food. They're much more a herbivore food. So we really don't do well. I like my salads, but lettuces and stuff I tend not to use. I make more of a veggie fruit salad, where I have my cucumbers, my avocados. I do use some carrots. I like things like that have flavors, not particularly on a piece of kale. My body is not designed for that. My body loves the fruits and the berries. It empowers you. It increases your awareness. It's amazing. So we're talking about energetic experience. And when you can withdraw from energy needs of the body to metabolize or work with food processing, you're going to see a lot more energy to detoxification and cleaning itself. Because take a look at this. A lot of people think nutrition is essential. It's not essential when the sperm hit the egg and suddenly you have one cell, and then one cell that's not really attached to much. So where does that cell get all its awareness to start dividing and creating form and that? Of course, it's the divine. So it's pretty cool stuff. The blueprints and all this. We talk about the God worlds out there, the different levels of heavens that exist. Remember, Jesus said there's many rooms in my Father's mansion, meaning there's many levels of heaven. And so there's so many levels. And it's just learning about them. Not making it antagonistic, looking at with excitement that you're learning more about truth, learning more about what is how creation is made. That's a big one, because a lot of people work from their little tiny positions of the Homo sapien and the big world outside. When you shift your attention from working from consciousness, changes things considerably. You're no longer the little bitty human that gets all beat up. But yeah, when you withdraw all energy needs for digestion, it's huge. And this is, again, why we use the fruits, berries, and melons for detoxification, because they're astringent, they're more energetic, they're more nutritious, and yet they're the easiest to digest, so they don't burden and require a lot of their energy to break them down. Of course, living food comes with their own enzymes, so they break themselves down a little bit. So everything is good at that level. Good question, Alex. I get confused at times because you're all about giving the body fruits, which is not ketosis. Well, ketosis, that's like acidosis. But anyway, you don't have to be confused about it. It's just keeping it. Different foods have different powers to them for different species. There's no question about it. And different vertebrates, of course, are classified under different vertebrates. You have your four basic vertebrates. You have your carnivores, your omnivores, your herbivores, and at the top of the chain are the frugivores. And that's just about how it is in consciousness. The lower of the consciousness is in the carnivores. The next higher level of consciousness is in the omnivores. The next higher level of consciousness is in the herbivores. And the next higher is in the frugivores. And take a look at the different species to show you that. When you break away from the omnivores, you're in a much more loving, peaceful scenario and a much more aware species. And then when you move into the frugivores, you're now into a species that makes tools and that can adapt and to learn. And I mean, they all can, because they all have all the bodies. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying one's better over another, but there's different levels of awareness in plants. There's different levels of awareness in animals. There's different levels of awareness in humans and in all the other species that are out there. And there's a lot of species out there besides the Homo sapien. Been crazy. So I had to have an appointment in between the last case that we were talking about and this one. Unfortunately, I was going to be a no-show, but they were late, so I had to come in here. But we're going to have a little panel here to help, and we're going to have Attila and Marcy come and help me talk to you about these things. But I really wanted to get these done, but I have to go right now. So let me just get a couple more in, because you guys have so many great questions, and I know so many of you are hurting, and it's just, I could sit here 24 hours a day to help you if I would, What would you recommend for my 11-year-old son who has attention and focusing problems, motor tics that have changed over years, obsessive thoughts, and memory problems? I have watched some of your vids, and I do believe a lot of it is due to neurotoxins. You're right, particularly from vaccines. This is classical stuff with the vaccines, but neurotoxins. Be careful with pesticides, herbicides, and all that sort of thing. And when he was in my room, and from a couple of vaccines, I don't know. Thank you for you're absolutely right, Mom. I think so, Lord. So. This is why the only way to get rid of neurotoxicity is detoxification. But we're into regenerative detoxification, so not only are we going to be cleaning these neurotoxins out of the body, we're going to be regenerating that which has been damaged by them. So, and also remember the genetic weaknesses. That's really generally a precursor for this, because you can take a child that comes in with healthy adrenals, strong myelin sheaths, they don't get the same kick. They're neurotoxic, but the neurotoxins don't attach or bother them as much because they don't have those weaknesses that accentuates. So I would definitely do the detox with the kidney. An 11-year-old, so they're old enough to really step up to the plate. So I do the kidneys, the adrenal glands, the lymphatic system. I go after the GI tract, and I go after upper circulation and brain and nerve is what I would do. Upper circulation and brain and nerve. You want something for the adrenal glands. If your young man's blood pressure is low, I'd hitchhike it with licorice. I would do the endocrine gland for a while too, just to pick up the pituitary, thyroid, whatever. 11-year-old, you want to look at the eyes, look at your son's or daughter's eyes. Make sure that you see if there's any other problems you want to go after while you're going after this, because you can fix them up real easy going on everything at the same time. So this is something to think about here. So I would do that. But you want to go after the kidneys. You got to go after the adrenal glands. That is number uno. But you can't go after them without going after the twin, the kidneys, because that system is what breaks down the myelin sheaths and things and brings down the adrenals themselves. It's almost a catch-22. The adrenals control the kidneys, but as the kidneys get inflamed from proteins and break down, then it backs up to the adrenals, and now the adrenals. So you just get this massive catch-22. But you can still wiggle and work yourself out of this and get yourself well. But with my 11-year-old, I would go after him in that way for sure. Upper circuit, brain, and nerve essential in this case, but also you want to go after the kidneys and adrenals. That'll also kick back to the myelin sheath as well. Detoxing, of course, that's the fruits and berries and melons. I mean, these are young children that need to learn that primary diet of humans needs to be fruits, berries, and melons. If you want to do something else, okay, but your primary diet. When you're going after neurological weaknesses, and I just got off of a phone with an MS case, again, neurological weaknesses, you need fruits, berries, and melons. And I'm telling you, I've had enough experience with neurological cases through all these years and rebuilding them all, or pretty much all of them. There are some we haven't been able to do. There's a few for various reasons other than ours. But still, we have some tough cases out there. We have one poor girl that's seizing. I've talked to her about it. I haven't heard from them in a long time. She's been having seizures since she was 4 months old from a vaccine, and she's 8 years old now. I mean, the symptoms and the side effects of using this crap is devastating, and no one gets to pay the price for that except the families, except karmatically, But it's enough to say that you're one smart lady, my dear one, and I love a woman that takes care of their kids like this. Good woman. But get your son on fruits, berries, and melons. My grandsons are all on them, as much as you can keep them on them at 11 years old, going to school and all that crap. I know there's all these situations, but you're a smart woman, and going after these neurological problems in your kids, you want to do that before they get older and it becomes MS or Lou Gehrig's or something. You really want to go after them now. Neurological problems are not fun. And remember, we just told you one that we pulled out of this, but you don't want to get there. It's just a nightmare. It's just sad stuff. Hi, Robert. My question is just about herb labeling. You always said to do either the Fab 4 or the first kit for sure and take the kidneys and adrenal formulas. But in these kits, the only formulas that like that is kidney and bladder. That's the ones I'm talking about. I think our kidney formulas are kidney and bladder 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have that to kind of shake up. you know, when you're on long term and you're going after some serious problems, I don't want the body to get used to these herbs. I want to swing back and forth between them. That way your body is, you know, always the new and always helping it. And I don't know, there, you know, it's like familiarity breeds contempt. So it's enough to say, though, yeah, the adrenal formula isn't added until like week 7, but it is in the endocrine gland formula. You are right. Now, I'm stuck between wanting to add formulas in these kits and the cost of them. You see, because we're going after the body systemically. We're not going, here, take this herb and see me next week, and take this herb after that. You're going nowhere with that. We're going, bam, full body insult. Bam, we're after that. So there is a few more herbs, and I've talked, this is why we keep our prices the way they are for 4-to-1 concentrates. See if you can find 4-to-1 out there. Not out there. So, and the same thing with these. I would love to get an adrenal along with it. I'd love to put it in a glandular, because I like to use a glandular at first, just to shake the adrenals. You know, because I'm working in this one case, and the adrenal looks almost atrophied. It's chronic and almost atrophied. Could be the pick, but definitely very, very weak. So I'm hitting it with an adrenal glandular 400 at first, just to say, hello, we're here. We have like cells, we're coming in, and we're going to wake everybody up. The herbs come in and just get into the cell, just the morphology, just the chemistry and the consciousness and the way God made those herbs. Totally a different beast. So we're taking both corners of these. I couldn't get all of that in the kits, so I put the endocrine gland. That way I'm turning on the pituitary, which turns on the adrenals. I'm turning on the thyroid, parathyroid. I'm kind of trying to get them all up. So I figured balance. But if you're going after something serious, this is a really good question, Jessica, is that you might want to add a glandular at first just to kick those adrenals. If you're really going after serious neurological problems, those adrenals are key to focus on. So, good question. Should adrenals be in the first kit if we're to be working on our kidney and adrenals? I would do a glandular for the first kit, and then, of course, your endocrine gland. What I've done is the first 2 weeks, I add adrenal 400 or 200. If they have high blood pressure, I add 200. If they have the lower blood pressure, I'm going to the 400. The next month, this is how we do it, 2 weeks, and then we do a month by month by month. The next month, I'm going to keep them on the adrenal 400. So the first 2 weeks, adrenal 400 or 200. The next month, the adrenal. But I'm also having them on the endocrine gland during those times too. On the second month or the 6th week, I then go to the adrenals, hitchhike with licorice. And then from there on, I'm on the herbal side of life. Now, if I use a glandular to pick up a parathyroid, because I need that in nerve transmission, I need that to rebuild connective tissue and skeletal tissue, I might put them on a parathyroid with a bones formula for a month. But that's kind of how I'm working with that. But I agree with you entirely. Trying to pop everybody's glands up at one time's hard. So I use the endocrine gland formula because there's herbs for the adrenals, there's herbs for the pituitary, there's herbs for the thyroid and parathyroid. So I'm trying to, you see where I'm going? So, also I have type 2 diabetes, adrenals big time. Yep, extremely insulin resistant. I'm on humulin RU 500, raw 50. Whoa, per meal. Holy crap! You're on 50 units per meal? That's quite a bit. So here's the problem with that, is that in time, your beta cells won't do anything. So, this could be a neurological diabetes as well. I mean, it is the adrenal glands. So, I would definitely do the adrenal 400 glandulars, and then I would also come back and swing to the adrenal with herbs, hitchhike with licorice, and go after those adrenals. Go after your kidneys the same way, because if you can get those kidneys to filter, it'll also clean the adrenal gland sitting on top as well. So it'll accelerate the healing of that. So those are some of the things you want to do. And of course, you want to keep yourself to simple sugars, and that's either glucose, fructose, and you forget galactose. That's way over. So you want fructose or glucose. In my opinion, you want fructose, a superior sugar. Those will still bump your sugar up a little bit because you have sugar metabolism problems, believe it or not. They say insulin, you have sugar metabolism problems. That's the adrenal glands. Type 1 is actually the insulin beta cell problem. But so going that way, go after your kidneys, stay on your raw foods, work on rebuilding that adrenal. Look to see if you have any other correspondence. See if you have the pituitary, because that could be ACTH or some other that we don't know of, that they don't know yet. But we do know that the pituitary controls the cortex with the ACTH. That's your steroid side. But there's got to be a neurotransmitter controlling side as well. So I don't know. There's a lot of things they're still discovering about the human body. But it's a lot of insulin, honey, but you might be shocked at how fast you'll go down. I'd go 100% raw, fruits, berries, melons, and salads, and just kind of watch how you go with that. Watch your insulin when you do this, though, because it can just fix the right thing, and your blood sugar could dump so fast. I've had cases where it took a while, and I had cases where it went BAM! I had a nurse, well, she was on 40 or 45. Twice a day, I think, was all she was on it. And in a week, she was off, and she was freaking out. She was in Miami. She was freaking out. She said, what the heck? I said, I don't know. I can only tell you what tissues are involved and what we can do to make them healthy. Some of this other strange stuff, there's strange stuff. But good question, Jessica. Love those kind of questions. See if I can get a few more in before they come get me. I just ordered and finished the Detox Miracle Sourcebook, jumping right away to trying the fruit diet. Yeah! Thank you so much for all that precious data. You're welcome. Only thing is, can you recommend herbal labs in France or Europe? Good question. And equivalent herbs growing here. I'm impatient the book gets translated in French so I can offer it. Great work. Thanks. Thank you a lot. I'll tell you, at one time I wanted to travel to every country and make herbal formulas from that country's herbs. It's a big undertaking, though, and a lot of stuff I'd have to study and be involved in. So I'm hoping that I can link with all you guys that are involved in that and herbalists, and maybe we can come up with some stuff in the future. What would be nice is to wake up the world to the need to have these and stop these customs crap, and everybody start working as one, realizing that the folk is the issue and not the governments, and then we need to start making everybody happy and making everybody feel good. All this acids and stuff are making people angry and upset, and of course it's making for corruption and everything else, maybe making people be corrupt that normally wouldn't be corrupt. It's just so many lies and stuff, and so much out there on this planet right now. It's so negative that the world needs you guys bad. You know that. So be strong against that which is negative. You don't have to take it. Oh, here's Jessica again. Oh, it's the same question. Oh, different one, same question. Oh, I would love to hear about healing varicose veins. I've asked different people and I only get exercise. Oh no. And get the weight off. No. Then I'm told I have to have them stripped and or late. No. There has to be a way to naturally heal. Absolutely is. And you reverse how you created them. Does that make sense? Can you please enlighten us with the vital information? I know many people who would welcome some usable advice. Lilac? Nice name. Remember this. When metabolitic waste, these are waste from your cells. So consider cells like little babies that eat and poop. Where when babies, we have to use diapers and change them and take care of them. Your body has a system that does that for the cells. And the system that wipes your cells' butt, basically, is your lymphatic system. But these wastes are the same as the baby's waste. Notice, remember, we talked about this a lot before. If you don't change the diaper in a timely manner, you're going to see a rash on your baby's bottom. And the reason for the rash is you're burning your baby's bottom with the urine or the stool because these wastes are acidic or supposed to be. So you have to get them away from the body, out of the body. When that isn't happening through your lymphatic system, which the kidneys and adrenals control that system, and your skin and the thyroid, then you have an accumulation of these acids. That's where you start to get stiff, painful, but inside your body has a much greater response to those acids. And that is either with lipids, either through corticosteroids or cholesterol itself, or it's going to turn to calcium. And in your case, it's turning to calcium. Even the fact that you're running high protein diets or too many acid forming foods in your diet robs the vascular walls. So when you have run too many acid forming foods in your blood could kill you. So for your blood to stop that before it compromises the life of the entity, it's going to leach calcium out of its small connective tissue lining, which is 1 cell thick. It's going to leach calcium out of that to try to stop these acids. In that event, you get two things going. You get weakened vascular walls, herniated walls, which is varicose and spider veins, but at the same time, you get calcifications, hardening of the wall. So you get a lot of serious problems with this that impedes or blocks, not impedes, but it blocks the blood flow, or impedes. Therefore, you get ischemia, which is poor blood flow to tissue. Then you have infarction, the death of the cell, like a heart attack. So you have to work on your parathyroid glands, quit eating acid-forming foods, get into fruits, berries, and melons, get into high flavonoids because that helps repair vascular walls. That's your fruits and the berries. You get on these type of foods. You go after your parathyroid gland, and I highly recommend parathyroid, 50 milligrams, 1-3 times a day. Piggyback that with bones forming. At the same time, you're correcting your acid-forming foods. At the same time, you're fixing your adrenal glands, you're fixing your kidneys, you're moving your lymphatic system, you're fixing your body up. You're getting rid of this acidosis. And that's the only way, and you'll fix them every single time, my dear. Every single time. These people, they don't know about health and what causes these things, and this is the problem. When you get opinions from people that don't know what causes things, you have to go through the stripping and stuff. That's compromising to health right there. And then, of course, the exercise, that even makes them worse. You don't want to do exercise if you're not filtering, because that'll only make everything worse in the body. Your knees will go, your hips will go, your elbows will go, your shoulders will go, your lower back goes. You have to filter your waste out if you're going to create more. Good question, guys. Oh, wow. My name is Kaitlyn. I really enjoy watching your videos. Thanks, sweetheart. I am 23 years young, and I have 2 children, 5 and 2. Wow. I have seemed to acquire many problems over the past 5 years. I have a benign tumor in my left breast, a cyst on my left ovary, many vaginal problems such as repeated bacterial vaginitis, repeated yeast infections. I have herpes type 1 vaginally. I have a low blood pressure, usually runs 80-ish to over 60-ish. I have no energy, and I used to have a lot of it. I also struggle in my sex life, and everyone around me is like, girl, you're way too young, is not want to have sex. What? I just have no desire, right? I got that one. I have so many negative thoughts daily and struggle with depression. I have been diagnosed with insomnia, major depression, and anxiety. I hate that I just feel like I am running in circles with doctors, which you are. I just don't know what to do anymore and want to feel like myself again. Also, I weigh 125 pounds and I am 5'4". Thanks. This is an important case. It's an important case of discussion. I'm going to wait till we have our I'll tell you about this case, but this will be a case to get the feedback from your other guys. But let me show you. This is important, sweetheart. And let's take this case from my perspective. First of all, I'm looking at her height at 5'4", and her mentioning about her adrenals and her kidneys and all this sort of thing. So let's look at this. I see what here is a potential pituitary weakness. This is then slamming the thyroid and parathyroid because the depression is coming from just what we talked about with the varicose veins. This is a parathyroid weakness big time. But my guess is you have a pituitary that's slamming your parathyroid at the very least. And if you have a parathyroid genetic on top of that, that's double the trouble. Thyroid's down a little bit as well. But what's really down in you is your adrenals and your kidneys. Hence, your benign tumor in your breast and your ovarian cysts. This is all lymphatic problems, and this is adrenal kidneys. This is why you had energy and now you don't. Because without proper adrenal function, your neurotransmitters are down and your steroids. You got two different things are down. Neurotransmitters is low energy. That's why you have 80 over. Your systolic blood pressure, your top blood pressure number is your neurotransmitters from your adrenal glands. So you're 80 over, meaning your adrenals are way down, honey. I mean way down. This is a glandular 400 and maybe adrenal capped or piggybacked with licorice. You're going to have to hit your adrenals, but I'm also going to recommend you hit your pituitary just a little bit with some herbs just to pick that up. Your cyst and tumor has to come out, and this comes out through the kidneys, and you want to go after your adrenal glands and your kidneys real importantly, because the rest of your body's up for grabs too. Hence vaginitis. This isn't bacterial. That's just because you're loaded with acids, and of course you have fungus as well. You have your fungal. You have two things going on. This shows fermentation and putrefaction. This is your lymph system. So I would douche with the heal-all tea for about 2 weeks, one time a night. Definitely want to get the heal-all tea and douche with it, honey, if not even longer. Now, this is the lymph system in the vaginal wall. Well, you're popping it in the ovaries, you're popping ovarian cysts, and got to be careful about fibroids and endometriosis in the uterus, because this is all the lymphatic system, and there's nowhere that's safe. Particularly on that left side with your left breast, there's nothing safe there, because your whole system is down. Type herpes. You know, herpes is just a viral, and your lymph system is so bad your body can't get rid of it. And the only way to get rid of viral loads like this is through detox. Same with HIV, herpes, hep C. Don't freak out that you have them, detox them. The only way. Can't kill them. You have to detox them, okay? That's important. Don't get upset. Low blood pressure is low adrenals and kidneys. All right? So very important that you work on that. And here's the problem. And I think you know what I'm going to say. You have a 5 and 2-year-old that is in your genetic line. So you got, please wake up to this and fix yourself, and then you're going to be fixing them. I would put them on fruits, berries, and melons. They're old enough. They should be on, 2-year-olds should not be on any milky products anymore, or their lymph system's going to be a you-know-what house mess. So you want to fix your babies. And neurologically speaking as well, this could be some serious stuff, honey. You've got some serious things that lead to serious things. So you want to fix this all up. All very fixable stuff. Very fixable stuff. Very fixable. But if not, can be devastating to you. Devastating to you. So that's how you fix it. Get on your fruits, berries, and melons. Start detoxing. Go after your body. Get on these herbal. You're going to want to get on an herbal protocol for a while and fix some of these things. Not want to just do it with foods or you won't be happy. You want to go now and fix these things, sweetheart. Get this benign tumor out of here. And that only happens through the lymph system, and it only happens through the kidneys. You can sweat a lot of it, but most of it has to come right through the kidneys. So you want to fix that up. Your adrenals are down, of course, no energy, chronic fatigue. Your lymph's a mess. You're constantly having vaginitis. So, you know, that, again, you're going to want to douche, clean, detox. And all that will clean up. But I'm going to tell you, you have insomnia. That's a pineal gland. So you've got a lot going on up here, right? So that means you've got lymphatic inflammation up in the head area. But you also have to have the transverse bowel involved to have that. So there's some things you want to fix up. Work on your GI tract, get up here, upper circuit, brain and nerve. Start turning on the pituitary a little bit, turning on the brain a little bit. Very, very important to coming out of this case. You're only 23 years old with a laundry list of problems, and they're all very fixable, but need to fix them. You don't want to go on in life and let medical doctors run you around a merry-go-round. They don't know how to fix anything like this. They don't even know what causes half of this. But you have to. You can't live in their world of unconsciousness because you're young and you've got 2 beautiful children, and they're coming down your road, but quicker. So you want to fix them now and deal with this, Kaitlyn. Really important stuff. Really important stuff. And if you need help, you call and get help here, because really, really important stuff. Good day, Dr. Morse. Good day, brother. Thank you. Love all your things you do and the honesty in your pumps. Thanks. I hope so. We need honesty. I mean, why not? We need honesty and integrity in our society. You know, this is falling apart. And so you just need that. And I think that's why you see the election going the way it is and things going the way it is. You know, these guys quit fighting amongst themselves and start talking about what you can do for the folk. You know, this argument and all this blaming each other. And, you know, it's not how you do it. But, you know, look at the planet you're on. Not very awake. We're all together doing and learning your methods. Thank you, my friend. I love you. Thanks for this. Succeed. One question for you for today. Have you ever heard of a man by the name of, can't pronounce it, Mehran? I don't know. Last name is spelled Keshe. And, well, that's from where it's from, right? So I don't know. No, I never have. So he's given me something, the link there. I'll look at that. And plasma reactor, platinum plasma reactor technology. I'll have to look at that. No, I'll tell you what. Let me hold this back, and I'll look at this. I'll look at this and come back with you on it. Yeah, thanks here. Thank you. This is from Simon. Thanks, Simon. Thank you for the time you put into answering people's questions and freely sharing. I'm happy to do that. You know, when you have a suffering mama of 2 babies that has a potential breast cancer coming, wouldn't you help her? Heck yeah, you would. Oh, this is another. What? I'm breastfeeding. I thought this was Simon. Huh. I'm breastfeeding. Can I go off fruit without fear of toxins leaving my body through breast milk? Well, yeah, I think so, pretty much. I mean, you're definitely going to enrich and vitalize that breast milk, so just that could detoxify the baby a little bit, but yeah, I don't think so. You know, you want your toxins through the lymph system. If baby's not in you anymore, and your lymph system all heads for the kidneys and the skin. So you don't have to worry too much about that. And I think it's going to be good for your baby. It will at least start to bring alkalization into the baby. Your breast milk wants to be alkaline. You don't want to ever. Women should always check the pH of their breast milk, because if you have acidic breast milk, guess what you're doing to your baby? You don't want acidic breast milk. Breast milk is base chemistry. So you don't want it to be acidic, or your baby will have colicky type things, all kinds of digestive problems and stuff like that. I also have skin problems. You see, this is, you're retaining. I'll say this about it. Your baby probably already has a lymph system backed up because of this. So you're not going to be feeding your baby toxins, but you're going to be helping your baby get rid of its toxins. And this is something that needs to happen, because look at this. She has skin problems. She has vitiligo. So this is dandruff. So let's look at vitiligo and dandruff. This is lymph packed up in your head, sweetheart. Oh, no. No. We need to get that out of there, because vitiligo is your pituitary going down. Well, that makes for your menses going down. It makes for sizes and shape, of course, growth hormones and everything else on the babies. And so if your babies have pituitaries, oh my God, then all the growth factors can be off. You can have bedwetting. You can have slow growth, mutated growths, all kinds of stuff like this. So you want to get in there and fix this. Start detoxing, get you on some endocrine glands to puff up these, and even for the baby to take a little of this. We'd be very good for you. The dandruff, no, that's oozing out your skin. You're not filtering. So now you have skin down, kidneys down, adrenals down, and so your babies will have those down too. So you want to fix this. Again, we got to fix our babies. The dandruff, no. That's sewage that's coming out the skin instead of going down. So it just shows extreme backing up, but your transverse bowel is probably involved with this as well. Sometimes eczema or psoriasis, that just shows your skin is not filtering like it should, and your kidneys are definitely not. So your skin's trying to make up for it. So your thyroid's probably going a little up and down like that, but possibility of a good pituitary problem and stuff, so you really want to go after this. Or was that insomnia on the other question? Maybe that was on the other question. But you want to think about all these things together. Sometimes these run together, I apologize, but always want to fix these things. When you start to see things going on up here, start paying attention, because this is the hard drive. This is your ability to see, to connect, all kinds of ways. So when you start having insomnia, you know, that's the pineal gland. Your pituitary is right beside it. Your hypothalamus and your whole brain, everything's right there. That controls everything. So you got the optic nerves, and then you got the cerebellum and this autonomic, and so all this stuff's up for grabs. You know, that's the problem. This isn't just one place. I don't just have insomnia. I have a pineal gland down. Well, you just don't have a pineal gland down. You have a whole system down. Everything's in systems. So you want to fix yourselves, you know, go after the detox. If you're a breastfeeding mama, I would do the Fab 4 or 5, knowing that your baby's going to get some of those herbs in it, and it's going to enhance and detoxify. Because remember, detoxification is also about enhancement. Detoxing is enhancement as well. As you clean, you enhance. And in that process of enhancement and hydration and all that, you have regeneration. It's all cool stuff. All cool stuff. But, oh my God, there's so many questions. I've got to take a break, and then we're going to come back as a panel and talk about it. And so that hopefully will be helpful and have more other points of view besides just mine. But they all share what we all share here. We all see the same stuff. And we all get the same good results because everybody's working the same. And you guys will have the same results we have because we're all on the same page. It's when you get the mind coming in, it says but and if and what if, and then all this crap that's out there that you hear that can pull you away from things. You know, when you take on a focus, take it on until you finish your focus. If you don't like the focus, change and do something else. I don't care about that. That's your life, and you have to find out what's going on here. But of those questions we just read, there's some very important problems in there that have to be rectified. And your mamas, remember what's going on with mama is going to be worse with babies. Genetics are facts, and then the baby's been in you and set in your lymph system. So your lymph system is the baby's lymph system, and that's where a lot of these problems are coming in, and you do not want your baby ending up in St. Jude's, because the chances of coming back from that is nil, next to none. So it's just not good, and it's very serious times, guys. And so I respect you all greatly for these questions, important questions they are, and we're here to help you through them. So with great love to all of you, I'll be talking to you this afternoon. See you later. And mamas, take care of your babies. And yourselves too, moms. Don't forget yourselves. Each one of you are blessings of beauty and love. Not just the children, but each and every one of you. Children become adults. We're all souls inhabiting bodies. So, with much love, and take care of yourselves. All right? Tough world right now.